Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond Broke and Hungry. We know that there's so much going on in the world, so we figured it'd be a good time to kind of step back and kind of discuss everything that's going on with this pandemic.
Yeah, it's a super, super weird time that we're going through right now. I mean, I definitely never... you never think that something like this is actually going to happen. I mean, how many Hollywood, thrillers are out there of something like this going on, and then this is actually happening in real life. And there's so many people that are getting like infected, and not even just infected by the coronavirus itself, but affected in their everyday lives, but with work, and even just, you can't even go to the gym hardly anymore. And grocery stores are eerie. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's weird going to the grocery store and not being able to get everything that you need. There are so many people who are out of a job right now. I have so many friends that, their job just got ripped out from under them, and crap, what do I do now?
Oh yeah. Especially, I mean, we know so many people in the entertainment world. I have a lot of, I was a server for a very long time in college and in high school. And I have friends that, are full-time bartenders or servers. And they literally, I mean, it's like, they're just like, yeah, I don't have a job like at all right now. I have no income at all. I have no idea how I'm going to pay my bills, how I'm going to pay my rent, anything like that. And I'm just, my heart is just breaking for all of them, and I'm just like every day, like praying and hoping that this just ends so soon, because I feel so bad.
I know. And it sounds so privileged to say, but I'm really blessed that my job thus far hasn't been affected. And I'm really appreciative of that. And that's one of those things that, I can wake up every day and say, you know what, thank God I still have a job.
Yeah, for sure. So what are your thoughts about like what's going on with this whole thing right now?
It's been crazy because to kind of back up a little bit, I was in Nashville the day of this big tornado that hit Nashville. And then the next day, literally 12 hours after half of my city was like destroyed, coronavirus hits Tennessee, about 10 miles away. And so all of that stuff happened all at once. And it was just this huge, it was like a fireball that just like took over my world, and I didn't know how to respond to it. And that's part of why I haven't been as active in social media recently, because it took me a while to kind of get my head back on straight. So it really hit me hard, like emotionally, mentally, physically even. I was really tired because I just saw, my yoga place closed down, my favorite coffee shop, my favorite tea place, all of these different areas that I would walk around and, shop, or some bars that I would go to, they were all gone. And so that was traumatizing enough. And then it's, you have to stay home. We're working from home. There may be like a bunch of companies are having layoffs. A lot of people are already out of a job because of all of this. And just feeling, to be honest, I was feeling really helpless, which is what was bothering me, because I'm like, who am I to have not been hit by this directly? Why do I get to sit here when everything's technically fine for me and, say that, oh my gosh, I'm so anxious and this is bothering me.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a little while, and I had a couple of counseling sessions where it was like, you know what? It's okay. This is crazy. This whole thing is unprecedented, and it's a lot, and you don't have to be handling it perfectly.
Oh yeah.
And it's, you're going to respond in the way that you respond. As far as, what your body does, what your mind goes to. Some people their natural tendency in a time of crisis is to be very fearful. And luckily, that's not something that I personally struggle with, but I do tend to get anxiety, where it's not as much of me being afraid, but I'll just kind of curl into myself and just be kind of almost have like depressive tendencies because I don't really know how to handle it. And I'll talk about it but I won't feel like I'm getting any better. So it was pretty drastic. I actually got an emotional support animal. I got a puppy.
Yes, she's so cute. I want to meet her.
She's already grown so much. So I weighed her today, and we're recording this on March 30th. On February 29th, the rescue got the puppy. She was about 4 months old. And in the past month, she has grown 10 pounds. She's gained 10 pounds. She was 18 pounds. Now she's 28. I'm like, no wonder she's been so hungry the last 2 weeks that I've had her.
She's a grown girl.
I know. So she is she's doing great and keep helping me, giving me something to focus on. And I know a lot of people don't have the ability to do that, but that was something that I've been kind of preparing for and wanting to do for a long time. So that's part of what's been keeping me sane. How has it been affecting you? Have you been kind of on lockdown? I've seen a lot of Instagram stories of you like at the pool. Doesn't seem like you're quarantining too much.
Well, okay. So yeah, my thoughts on this whole thing is that it's wild. It's crazy. I am, of course, being safe about the things that I do. And I have a pool in my backyard. So there's nowhere that says that I can't enjoy what's outside my property. I do have to say, living a block away from the ocean and being told that I cannot walk on the beach is trippy. It is one of those
Did they
things.
officially say that in Jacksonville?
Yeah, it's been for about a week and a half now. They just kind of like, they talked, it was like a rumor. And then all of a sudden it was like, yeah, by 5 o'clock, get off the beach. And everybody was like, wait, what? And then everybody was like, okay, well then if Duval County is shut down, then let's go to St. Johns County. And everybody went to St. Johns County, and then St. Johns County shut down their beaches. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, Florida people are crazy. What can I say? But, I mean, I'm just, I'm trying to keep that rule of no more than, 6, 7 people around me. I've been working from home for about a year anyway. So my work life really hasn't changed. I thank God every single day. In my gratitude, I try to find different ways to say that I'm grateful for my job, because I am so grateful for it. I mean, as far as I know, there's no signs, no whispers of anything. I work in the data tech marketing world, essentially. So there's kind of a need for us right now,
right?
If you will, because everybody's going digital. So, my company works with a lot of these companies that are building these softwares and making this tech easier for people to communicate and for people to work remotely. So if anything, I'm getting busier.
Well, that's a good thing. You're in the right industry.
Yes. So yeah, if anything, things are busier for me. But it also is a way for me to be a little bit more creative, because it is a trying time, and you do have to be very careful about what you say. You have to be so careful about what you do and how you go about things. And you have to, be respectful of certain things as well. So it's an interesting time. And I've always been a big fan of supporting local businesses, being that I grew up with my family owning their own businesses pretty much my entire life. I've always been a big fan. All my friends growing up, their parents have owned their own business, whether it be in automotive, construction, AC, event rentals, you name it. I've always grown up with these like mom and pop stores, if you will, around me. So supporting local has always been a huge thing for me. I've worked for a couple different corporate restaurants and places, but I do appreciate that mom and pop local industry more than anything. And I think that's what everybody is kind of screaming for right now. And these, there's a ton in Flagler County and in Duval County as well, St. Johns County, and I'm sure up in Tennessee as well. All over the country, there's all these local stores. So it's, in a way, it is extremely interesting. And beautiful to see how these communities are coming together to support one another, whether it's your local microbrewery doing pickup and delivery and then partnering with the food truck and like everybody doing things to go or delivery, or, just last week I did a live Facebook performance, and I'll continue to do this every week until this is over. But just shouting out local businesses and whether they want to give me a discount, and, people that watch my show can use that discount or whatever it is. But to see everybody coming together virtually is incredible, because we have the technology to do this. Even though, yes, a lot of people are out of work, and that's tragic. And, my heart goes out to them, and I wish that there was something that I could do to help. But at the end of the day, it is interesting to see, communities coming together in this virtual way that, if we didn't have technology, how would things be right now?
Yeah. If this had even happened 5 years ago, it would be a drastically different.
Totally different game. So you were saying that your job is a little bit different now, but you're lucky that you still have one, and that you're in a position where you're still working. So what does work look like for you now?
So as I mentioned in episode 1, I work for a big machine label group and work on the rock side and work with a few of the country artists as well. A lot of the stuff that we've been working on is actually slowed down a bit. So it's kind of on top of working from home. It's forced me to slow down even more. Because there just hasn't been that much work coming in the past few weeks. It's just happened to be a slow couple of weeks on top of the fact that we're not in the office. So little things that you could usually fill your time with to feel busy aren't there either. So I've just been kind of forcing myself to take it easy work-wise and to be okay with that.
You're back up in Michigan with your family, right?
Yes. So last Monday, I decided to come home to Michigan and just be with my parents because my mom was lonely. I was getting kind of lonely. We were both getting kind of stir crazy. So figured it would be good to be home with my parents. So I'm back at my childhood home right now. Probably stay here for another week or so, maybe a little longer. We'll see. But, President Trump made that announcement that, everything's going to be shut down until the end of April. And so it's, we have another 4 weeks of this. So how are we going to fill that time? And how are we going to spend it to make it worthwhile? But how has work been looking for you? You said it's been getting a little bit busier.
Yes, definitely.
What else has been going on?
We're just pushing. There's a lot of privacy acts being dropped right now in the state of California that we're trying to, data and tech industries are trying to figure out how to be able to continue to collect data but also respect people's privacy. And a lot of people what the general public doesn't seem to understand is that in order for companies to know that Susie, who lives in small town USA, really loves buying purple flowers from the local market, that data is not going to be able to be collected unless people are putting their information into the cloud, if you will. But we're trying to work on different ways to make it so that we're getting the fact that maybe we aren't getting Susie's name directly, but we're getting her age, we're getting her demographic, we're getting the general area where she lives, and we know that she loves the color purple and that she's a female. So everything is so digital nowadays that you have to kind of put your information in there, but where's the line? So there's a lot of that going on right now. My company just drew up a privacy council and a privacy bulletin to keep members and anybody that really wants to know some information about what's going on in that silo, just to keep them up to date and continue to educate and translate what exactly all of this means. I do the social media for the company. So, I'm trying to get involved with more of the support local campaigns. National Burrito Day is actually on Thursday. So, we've got a couple different restaurants around the the states that are open and doing pickup and delivery. So we're trying to help get the word out for them. Hashtag support local is kind of the game that we're on right now. So just a lot of getting into that and seeing what people are talking about and how local businesses, and when I say local, I mean mom and pop, but I also mean, Ace Hardware is a chain, is a corporate store, but your Ace Hardware in your town is your Ace Hardware, and it needs to market to its local people. So
right, because they're franchises.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So just kind of figuring out what these businesses are doing, how they are, things are obviously transitioning and having to shift in how marketing is done and how businesses are run. So everybody's kind of, having to figure it out all at once. So lots going on in that sense. Obviously my events were canceled. I was supposed to be in San Antonio for St. Patrick's Day actually, and that event was canceled, and who knows what's going to happen. We're supposed to have our next conference in September. We're thinking about making our conference that we had to postpone. We're thinking of making it virtual. That's what a lot of people are doing now, including musicians, which leads me to my question for you. So what are your artists doing right now? I see a lot of artists on Instagram and Facebook doing live performances and little live kind of festivals, if you will. Is Big Machine participating in doing stuff like that? Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. I can't talk about it a ton. I know that the most of what I have been seeing, most of what our artists are doing is pretty similar. A lot of live streams and things like that. And a lot of artists are putting out new music too. There's one artist that's putting out something super new and exciting that I can't talk about, but it was all kind of started by this, and it's all kind of based on this. And then a couple artists who have songs that just happened that they had ready, that just it hadn't been the right time to release them, and now with everything that's going on, the timing and the lyrics and everything all tie together perfectly. So it's a lot of well-timed releases, and then kind of Facebook Live. A few of them are trying to get some studio time in, stuff like that. But it's been really interesting, especially being up here in Michigan now. Tennessee shut down a lot of things, but it's not, last I knew, because I'm not there, last I heard, the state hadn't shut down. There was no stay in place order, but there is here in Michigan. And so in Michigan, you can only leave the house for groceries or emergencies.
Wow.
You can also go on walks if you have a dog, but you can't go more than a mile away from your house walking. I know Washington, D.C. just put in one of those. My sister lives there, so I was talking to her about that earlier. But it's just been really interesting because a lot of, as you were saying, like all the local companies, that a lot of them were able to keep running until this happened, and it kind of brought a lot of things to a grinding halt. And it's taking a lot of people's, income and livelihood down with it, with the economy, and everyone's going, crap, what do I do now?
Amidst all of this, you were saying that, Tennessee hasn't had a really closeout rule yet, but Michigan does. So what are you doing, since you're back home right now? What are you doing to stay sane that you can't do anything, really?
First of all, my mom and I have been cleaning out a bunch of stuff in the house and doing a hardcore spring clean. So far,
all of those things you said that you would do when you had time.
Yeah, the entire kitchen is getting wiped out. We have gotten rid of like 6 big boxes of doubles and triples of things that you're just never going to use. And I'm ruthless when it comes to getting rid of stuff. So
when I'm in a mood, if it's in my path, it goes. And then it'll be 3 months later and I'm like, dang it, why'd I throw away that baby tea I held on to for 8 years and never wore, and then decided to throw away, and now I want it.
Exactly. But so we've been doing that. I've been getting into a couple little projects, playing the piano. has been really nice. Because my parents have a piano at the house, and I don't play very often at my house in Tennessee because I don't really have a place to put my keyboard. It's just an electric one, and so I have to pull it out from under my bed. It's kind of a whole thing. So I don't do that very often, but it's nice to just sit down, play some of my favorite songs, work on learning some songs, because I haven't been playing piano enough in recent years to have really been learning new songs other than just like chords, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
For any of you guys who are musical, like the actual sitting down and either learning something by ear or reading the music and learning it note for note, it's really different than just being like, well, these chords go underneath it correctly-ish, which is usually how I play piano or guitar. So that's been really fun to do. But it's been cold here the past, week since I've been here. It's been like 40 and misty and windy and awful. So I keep seeing, Dara, I keep seeing your posts at the
I know, I'm sitting over here
like
cringing. I'm like, oh man, I feel so bad because I'm like living my life.
I know. It's been so cold. Part of me is like, I kind of miss being in Tennessee, but it's good to be with my family.
For sure. Yeah, no, it's been interesting because especially like I like TikTok and I'm big on Twitter. And I've been seeing everybody kind of making fun of Florida because everybody in Florida is still riding on their boats and hanging out by the pool and things like that. But I mean, this whole experience is kind of showing me how, yes, I have a lot of friends, but I don't hang out with a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Like the people I've been spending my time with have been like pretty much the same people.
Yeah.
And it's great. And it's awesome. But we are blessed in Florida. And I mean, I once had someone tell me that there was nothing better than having a boat than having a friend that has a boat. Cause then you don't have to take care of anything. So I've kind of been like, living in that aspect, but especially because things are kind of shut down a little bit. Even longer. I think, quite honestly, I think in my head, I was kind of like, this will go away. This will go away. This will go away. And now that it's not, I'm kind of like, okay, well, this was fun. I got a nice tan going on. Maybe, moving forward, I'm kind of just going to keep it low key, for a little bit. It's just hard because I have family scattered all over the state. I have friends scattered all over the state. So, and I'm just always used to go, even though I'm not going out and doing things right now. I'm still, I was just in Ocala visiting a friend, now I'm down in Southwest Florida visiting friends. And, I have got family in Clearwater. I was thinking about popping by and stopping, on my way back to Jacksonville, and my family lives in Ormond. So, I'm kind of ping ponging all over the place right now.
Which is kind of the opposite of what they're telling you to do.
Right.
Well,
yeah, but I'm going to start now. So
better late than never.
Yeah,
I guess.
better late
Guys,
than never.
Don't follow Dara's example.
Yeah,
Dara, I love you, but don't do that.
Yeah, no. So I think at this point, it was just because, listen, my day-to-day didn't really change. I worked from home.
Yeah.
So it
didn't
really
feel like a big deal to you.
Yeah. When everyone was like, I gotta work from home, I was like, man, I have been trying for the last 3 years to work from home. And now I finally do. Like, this is what I wanted. Like, I still wake up every morning and still do my routine and like, my personal development, my gratitude and work out and stuff. But it is nice on the days that you don't want to be up at 6:30, you want to be up at 8:00. And sit at your desk by 8:40. Okay. Do that. But I think, like last week I posted some tips for people because I do know a lot of people that are struggling with it. It was an adjustment when I first started to work from home, but I love it now. But it did take a minute for me to kind of realize like, oh shit, we're kind of on lockdown right now. Like we can't really be out and about. We can't be doing the things that I've been doing. Like maybe I shouldn't be going out on doing this moving forward. Maybe I should just kind of keep it low key and go home. And luckily as creatives, like you with your piano, like I'm learning more songs to cover. I'm still doing Facebook Lives, like, so it's just interesting because not a lot of my life is changed by this, except for the fact that, I can't, I can't just go to dinner. I can't just go to lunch. Like I have to like cook it or whatever, which is fine. But, you were mentioning earlier, the whole grocery store thing, like you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Do you know how crazy that's driving me?
Uh-huh. I do, because I know you.
I cannot go to the store with a list. I have to go with like a vague, like, okay, I need meat, vegetables, and fruits, and maybe a snack. Like, I can't be like, I want this, I want this, I want this. I have to go, these are the things I need. I guess I'll figure it out when I get there.
And you are losing your mind, aren't you?
I'm losing my mind. Losing it. It's crazy because I'll be like, I have my heart set on like ground chicken, and it's like all that's left are hot dogs. And I'm like, I don't want to eat hot dogs. That's not what I planned.
But you can't make me.
So I'm like, well, fine. If they don't have it at Trader Joe's, we're going to go to Target. And the next thing you know, you're like 8 Walmarts in, and you're like, all right, fine. I guess I'm going to eat hot dogs.
I'm either eating hot dogs or going to go find a chicken. Like it'll one or the other.
Whatever comes first, God. But yeah, I mean, so it's definitely been an adjustment in little micro ways, but it's kind of getting to the point now where like I'm in Bradenton visiting my friend Allie, and she's a teacher, and like I work from home, so this is a norm for me, but like she's a first grade teacher. My friend Carly is a 4th grade teacher working from home. Like how? It's like everybody's doing virtual school. My sister goes to FSU. She's not going back to school for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So
and
it's just
to
crazy.
The teachers and the parents,
right?
All of this stuff.
Oh
like my sister and my brother-in-law, they're working from home. Their kids are home. So my nephew is doing school via Zoom right now.
Yeah.
And he's in 4th grade. Like what in the world? And then the first graders, his little brother, they have different projects that they're doing from home. And so the parents are sort of having to homeschool and facilitate while also working from home at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And teachers had to literally flip everything that they're doing to learn and come up with a completely new way of teaching in a matter of days.
Yeah.
So shout out to all of you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Insane. And we are so proud of you and don't know how the world would be functioning without you.
Yeah, absolutely. So through all of this, I think that keeping your routine is super important as best as you can. If your routine is to wake up and, have some gratitude or time with God or whatever it is that you do, even if your routine is to go for a walk, don't change that. You can still move your body. You can still be grateful. You can still, affirm to yourself things that are true about yourself, and just be patient that this is gonna pass. I mean, it's easy for me to say, someone who still has a job and still has like a decent routine in my life going on right now. It's easy for me to say, oh, just like keep your routine, but. I mean, what good is being negative going to be through all of this? I mean, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to make it better. It sure won't make it better as if you're looking at it in a dark way. But, I want us to kind of think about between like you and I and the whole world in general. What are some positives that we can see from this? Like, what are some things that we can focus on?
Yeah. So I love the idea of really sticking with the routines that you have. I know some people that part of their routine is going to Starbucks every morning, and they hate making their own coffee, but maybe, buying a $10 milk frother off of Amazon, because God bless Amazon, it's still up and running.
Yeah. And things are about a month behind, but yeah.
But still. So, or, go to Target while you're getting your groceries, get like a little milk frother or something to make yourself a cappuccino and make it a little bit nicer for yourself. So it's something special where it's still not spending a ton of money on it. But another idea that a couple things that I've been doing, especially having more time. This is an unprecedented time where the world has like slowed down. It's coming to a grinding halt right now. And what are we going to do with this time? Are we going to use it to become better versions of ourselves, or to binge watch all 8 seasons of The Office 3 times? And so it's like, there's so much that we can do.
For sure. And there's a fine line too, because, you know, being the best version of yourself might mean that you binge watch The Office for the 4th time.
Yeah.
You know, and that's okay. And that's totally cool to do. But there is, even though, you know, like I was sitting and talking to one of my friends, and we were talking about how, like, wow, I realized that most of my hobbies are going out to eat, going to get drinks with friends, you know, going and doing that, and not so. And now, you know, our hobbies kind of have to be going for a walk, going for a bike ride, going for a hike, you know, like learning a craft, you know, playing board games, spending time with your family, spending time with your loved ones, you know, like you're stuck inside. A lot of people are stuck inside a house, you know, so there's either going to be a lot of babies around Christmas, or there's going to be a lot of divorces after all of this is over. But, you know, but I mean, it's that
I hope
time.
the former, not the latter. You know, where I was saying I've been playing the piano, I've been going on a lot more walks. A lot of that is because I got a dog. I've been taking her out. But it's been getting me outside even when I don't want to be outside. Even when it's cold and rainy, I'm still going for a walk because I need to take her for one. And that's been good for me. Even when I don't want to do it, or even when I don't want to talk to, you know, if you're in a funk, if you're in an anxious state, if you're struggling with depression in this time, I totally get it, because I am kind of been struggling with that as well. And, you know, one thing that I've wanted to do is talk to my friends, but when they actually call, half the time I don't actually want to talk to them. So if you're there, I totally feel you and understand wholeheartedly. But I've been kind of forcing myself to pick up the phone, and say, you know what? No, I'm going to call them anyway. Or I am going to answer this random FaceTime call. I am going to talk to, it's been easy for me to talk to my family, and my really close friends, but going out of my way to talk to people has been really good. And I found that it's energized me. Yesterday, I was kind of having a down day. I just wasn't feeling great. My pup was just being a puppy, and she had a couple accidents. She was being a little bit testy and barking.
A bitch.
Yeah, she was. And so I was just over here like, and I'm just like, I'm just going to sit down and watch Harry Potter, and it's going to be fine. And then my phone rings, and it's one of my really good friends, and he was FaceTiming me, and I was like, no, not right now. I just need to, fine. So I answered the phone, and it was the best thing that happened to me all day, was just like sitting and talking to a friend.
Yeah.
And
well, I think everybody needs to feel connected in some way, shape or form right now, because we're so, you know, we're at a time where it's like all that there really is time to do is connect with one another, is to, you know, sit there and think about things, whether that be good or bad. And, you know, people need to realize, like, yes, this is a dark time, but in darkness, there's lightness, and there's always something to look forward to, or to be grateful about, or to see the light in this situation. You know, like you're alive, you're well, even if you don't have a job, you know, like there's things in the works that are going to make sure you're taken care of, you know, because it's not like it's just the United States, it's the entire world.
And that's the crazy thing about this is this whole thing is unprecedented.
Yeah.
No one knows how to handle this.
Yeah.
No one knows when this is going to end. And that's why it's so scary. And, you know, seeing states closing down entirely, seeing businesses close down, seeing major companies like Macy's is going to be laying off temporarily the majority of their workers because all their stores are closed and they can't afford to keep paying them.
Yep.
And if that kind of stuff keeps happening at all these major companies, like this is drastic and it's a big deal. And
yeah, I was almost thinking like, I wonder if the world is just going to have like a reset. You know how like it's always like this person's with this country's in debt with this country and this and this and this and this and this. This whole entire world has been infected,
yeah,
basically, by this disease. And I feel like it's the perfect opportunity for kind of, and maybe this is the hippy dippy in me, but peace, love, and happiness, whatever. But this is the perfect time to reset, to just be like, you know what, we've made up what money means anyway, so why not just zero it out?
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about what could happen, because there are a million scenarios where, okay, maybe people are learning that you don't have to go out to eat for every meal. I know it's the millennial way, but like staying home and cooking. I wonder if that's going to revamp a lot of people's hobbies in that, and get a lot of more people cooking than were before. Because a lot of people, especially in their 20s, will just go out for at least 5 meals a week.
Yeah.
Way north of that for most.
Yeah.
And so that right there is going to help save people money and make them think, oh, well, maybe I should do something more wise with my money, and start thinking about that and thinking about finances. And then also, this could be a really major crash. There has been a major crash in the stock market, and then it bounced right back up, and it's just been so drastically up and down. No one knows what's going to happen.
Yep.
And so it's, the best thing that we can do is really just slow down.
Take a breath.
Take a breath and try not to worry about it, because there's nothing that you can individually do to make this situation drastically different for anybody other than yourself and the people close around you. What you can do is exactly what everyone's been telling you to do, is just wash your hands, stay away from people, Dara, and, kind of stay on your own. Separate yourself, and then just take that time to do all the things that you've been saying you're going to do for years. If you want to learn a new task, cool, do it. If you want to, I'm trying to come up with something crafty to do and work on, or do a spring cleaning, all that kind of stuff. It's just, it'll make you feel so good when, it is okay to sit down and watch a movie. But if you're doing that with all of this time, it's gonna kill you.
Yeah. This is a perfect time to start working on your personal development, reading a book, listening to podcasts, practicing gratitude every single day, especially right now. If not any time, do it right now, because no matter what, I know that there's a lot of horrific situations right now, but there's still 3 things to be grateful for. There's still things that, that you can put your energy on in a positive way that is going to bounce into the universe and then reflect back on you. Like, we don't know when this is going to end. We don't know how it's going to get better. We don't know, things are going to change. We know that for sure. Things are going to be different. We know that for sure. But we can still control the way that we process, the way that we react. There's just, I always want to lean on that gratitude and positivity and affirmations, because one way or another, the human race has always figured it out. We wouldn't have come this far, that we wouldn't be the superior race if we didn't. But, that's kind of like my advice for everybody. I mean, like I said, I can't speak for everybody, because I do know a lot of people that don't have jobs right now. And a lot of it is temporary. Things will get better. I do believe that. I have faith in that, and it's not just like a USA, America, kind of thing. It's just my belief in the world and my belief in humanity, and that things will get better. Things will change and things will be different, but things are always changing and things are always different. So, what is the only difference is how fast this is spreading, and how many people are getting affected by it. But, the more we stop moving, the less this moves. And that's all we have to do.
Right. Exactly. And so, one thing to keep in mind too is, if you are out of a job, don't be afraid to ask for help, to file for unemployment, as much as it may be like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like, this job could come back in 2 weeks and it could be fine. That system is in place for this situation where it just, your job got dropped from under you. And, we set up our government in the United States, where we live at least, to take care of you in times like that. So don't be afraid to go through and actually take advantage of those. Don't
be too prideful to turn to your government, to turn to your country and say, hey, like, I need some help.
Yeah. But if you are out of a job, definitely slow things down a little bit. And I know it's really easy to stress shop, stress buy, even if it's online. But try to wrangle that in, because that'll help you in the long run. And just relax a little bit. Take some time for yourself. Treat this as, some forced self-care time. Some time where you can, go out of your way to see via Zoom or via FaceTime or whatever, the friends you haven't talked to in forever.
Yeah, for sure.
To pick up the old hobbies that you've forgotten about over the last few years. So we really love you guys, and we're really happy to be able to share this podcast and this time with you. So we'd love to hear from you. Definitely send us a DM on Instagram or shoot us an email at beyondbrokenhungry@gmail.com. And we just want to hear what's going on with you, how this has been affecting you. And if there's anything we can do to help, we'd love to share your stories in the podcast as well, or on our social media. So we're just really hoping that we can help be a light and encourage you through all of this.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week. Like Ellen said in the beginning, we just kind of wanted to take a pause in this season and really, to really address what's going on in the world, and to let you guys know that there are still things that you can do to take control and to stay positive and get beyond broken hungry, if you will. And we love you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks again, everyone, for listening. Tune in next week. We are going to be speaking with Mel and Steve at Oasis Wealth Planning to talk more about personal finance and how we can get beyond broken hungry in that way, which is great timing considering all of the craziness that's going on right now with the virus. So thanks again for tuning in. We love you. Tag us at Beyond Broke and Hungry and let us know your thoughts down below. We love you. Bye.